who were those boys and girls then? They were all these boys and girls between class 5 to college. They were doing nothing. And that's the time when you're not getting education, you're not involved with discourse, debate, that you start doing nothing and then you get this ideal mind to just do what you want. And on the other side, it was this fantastic thing about boys. That was the kind of remark we got. And they enjoyed impunity of a height that I've never seen before. If I even travel somewhere and the boys would stop me, I would know that they enjoy impunity. If I have to fight with them, I know I'll never be protected. Not that they did anything to me. So we were going through a phase in the Northeast where I think there was really nothing to do. And it was propelled by the kind of politics that was going on. In between that, I'm trying to do development work. And I think that was a huge struggle. I don't think we have achieved, but not so much. I think our young women who are here, who have worked with me, will be the future leaders. Some of them have gone outside the country, some of them have joined different political parties. But I think they've got the message, and I'm sure that's the achievement, that they'll carry the message across. Thank you.
Police reporter ever has. And my question to you, Teresa, is we all identify you with the entire fake encounter killing and the aftermath and the trouble that you went through. My question is, how complex really is a state like Manipur? And you're from Assam, but you've still gone and covered. How complex do you think it is from the eyes of a neighboring state? How complex do you think it is? And what do you think is the most challenging part as a journalist first, and as a lady who was hounded by people who thought you had opened up Pandora's box?
Frankly speaking, I don't want to identify myself with that story. I think Northeast has a lot to offer to the world, and I think it's like when I talk about the thumbprint, it's more like an angry reaction. It was like basically after I quit the Helga, I thought I would write as an independent writer for the so-called national media. I call them the so-called national media. But when I realized that they were not ready to give me space for stories which I thought were of global standards, they were of international standards, then I decided to create my own space. And this is where I discovered the might of the internet. And within a span of 2 years, we have stormed our way into cyberspace. And this, it's amazing, the might of the internet is amazing. We have crisscrossed across geographical and psychological barriers. When you talk about Manipur, when I go to Manipur, I can't even understand what they're talking. I don't understand the language. This is the level of, I just know that they are saying something. I have to take an interpreter. So and I still remember when there was a judicial commission hearing of this case, and I was since I refused to go to Manipur, there was a hearing in Guwahati. None of the Guwahati-based reporters were interested, and a bus full of reporters from Manipur had come to cover the story. So this is the level of insularity which we have in the Seven Sisters. So my main thing is to reach out to the world, and this is people ask us, why do you call yourself the thumbprint? I said, we're too small to leave a there, but I think at least we can leave an imprint. And I want to tell the stories that I always say the Northeast is a paradise for journalists. There are stories of men, women, and children waiting to be told. It's not just stereotypes about. I'm tired of writing about conflict. I want to write about Ben Bado. I want to write about Rita Bado. I want to write about the struggles of the government. I want to write about environment, sanitation. I want to write about water. I want to write about the drains outside. I want to write about the city. And as part of Thumbprint, we have started a series called Giant Guwahatian. I realized that we've celebrated every city. We've Delhi Meri Jaan, Mumbai, Mumbai Meri Jaan, Delhi Ki Laddu, Kolkata is a city of joy. But Guwahati as a city has never been celebrated. Shillong as a city has never been celebrated. Or for that matter, Guwahatians who make make up the city, to give lend a warmth and character to the city, have never been celebrated. So we decided to start this series of, a series called Giant Guwahati, where, a person who's from Guwahati, who's based outside somewhere, or maybe he's based in Guwahati and he's trying to make a difference. And then, so we're trying, it's a very, very tiny effort, it's a very humble effort, and I think it's a privilege that Indrani chose me to be one of the characters in our book. I'm really humbled today. Thank you so much.
There are ladies like Ben Baido who has actually who have come from privileged backgrounds but have not cared two hoots but gone and broken stereotypes. You've had Chaudhary ma'am, who's actually been in jail, and that's my last question before we wrap it up. I just wanted to ask you a last personal question. I was under National Security Act in 1998 when I was a student leader, and I know how humiliating it was for me to be picked up on the basis of my identity. I can understand that from a strictly teenager, 17, 18-year-old boy who was picked up on the basis of his background because there was large-scale insurgency in my state. My sister was also picked up at that moment, and it was humiliating. That's the word for me. You were there for a far longer period. I've read in the book that she was actually kept for 2 weeks in confinement, and then she was shifted one night to all-male confinement in the jail. How difficult was it for you, and do you still hold that in you, that sentiment today, or have you completely forgotten about it? Because as a male member, I've never been able to overcome that humiliation. So I just wanted a point of view from you.
Actually, I did not feel humiliated at all because I was facing a challenge from a patriarchal state. So it was not humiliation for me. Actually, I enjoyed my confinement because in my confinement, in the jail, I met so many different people. The mentally challenged women were there. So I started fighting in favor of them. So I have tried to change certain systems which were against the people who were confined. So that was a challenge I have thrown to them. So I was in lockup for 7 days here in Panbazar Thana. So day and night I was questioned, but I enjoyed it because I knew I'm very hard now to crack. They could not crack me. Still, I am the same hard now. So I think we are in the same position. Your community is ahead of us somewhere. We are losing our identity, losing our footing, and our future is very uncertain now. So I think you should think it as a very positive experience that should strengthen you from within, that you are leading a community which have faced so many challenges and adversities. You should be strong enough, and you are very strong. I have heard about you. I think you stand and you should fight for your community so that they can not only survive, they can shine. I am representing my community wherever I work, wherever I represent my community. I represent it very strongly, and I want my community to shine as a star in the world platform. So I don't feel weak. I never felt weak, and I never surrendered before any kind of challenges, maybe from it is my husband, it is from any male of the society or a woman or from the state or anything. I have faced every challenge head on.
Hand me the mic. The final remarks will be made by Mrs. Mahanta. Anita Deka Mahantar, and she. No, okay. Anita Deka Mahantar. You have the final words. Go both hands.
Thank you, Peter. I must say, today is an evening well spent among so many successful and so many people whom I admire. And I must congratulate Baido for coming up with such a lovely book. In fact, while I was sitting, I just opened and I got so engrossed that when Teresa came and told me, I just got a shock. I said,
you were engrossed?
Yeah, I was sitting. I know it was very impolite of me to be reading the book when.
That's the biggest compliment I got.
Thank you. But you know, when she just spoke, I just started, you know what happened. And Baido, again, I will congratulate you, and we do hope that in future we see more of these books coming. And as I have earlier said, that we would also like to see books of very ordinary people, ordinary women, living extraordinary life. And, of course, as Teresa has said, we are working. I'm also related to an organization who works to showcase Northeast. I belong to Trend LMS, an organization who organizes a Northeast Festival. And just last month, at 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th of November, we did organize a festival. And we hope in the next round of our festival, we will be able to have a literary section. In fact, we wanted to have one, but there was a lack of permission we couldn't. Because I feel literature is one medium through which people from other regions will know more about us. Because it is.
I think if there's any one last question, anyone can come by and ask a question. Oh, there's a question by. The last question, then we follow.
Our relationship that started in 1978. When I met him in college, I was in the library. He picked up a book that I was reading and said it was very heavy. And straight away I fell in love with a man who measures books by their heaviness. And the partnership continues. He honors my commitment and he's made many sacrifices, and I'm deeply grateful.